Well, we'll just go through them fast.
Okay, we started.
My name is Richard.
My name is Nathan.
We're reviewing the Australian Grand Prix, the shit show of a race. Okay, where do we start? There's a lot, and I'm gonna get upset, and I'm gonna go on a rant for extended periods of time.
That's fine.
Okay. So to start the weekend, Mercedes has to do good because now they're being actually threatened by big Mercedes to do good, or else they're gonna give up on them, and they go to their second child, which is Aston Martin. Okay.
You know the one meme where like the dude's with the girl and he's like looking back and then that's Aston
Aston
Martin and that's Mercedes.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what was going on. Okay, and then you also have Verstappen v Perez because Perez is like, I'm the big man now. I can fight Verstappen. But we're about to find out that shit ain't gonna happen right away. So in the first like two practice sessions, Verstappen is like fucking going off the track. He's not doing very good. He's still slightly faster than Perez, but Perez is like having a good like practice sessions. He's very consistent. Then we get to qualifying day, which is a practice before that, and Perez is god shit dookie going off the track, has no control of his car, is complaining to the team. They have no idea what's going on. He has no idea what's going on. And Verstappen's car is perfectly fine because, well, of course it is. Why is it fine? I don't know. Because something's clearly wrong and no one wants to say it's wrong. Okay, then we get to qualifying. And then the first turn, Perez goes straight off the track. And it's not even funny. I got upset.
Man, get let of pits of anger. What the fuck?
You can tell this week was not very nice to me.
To you. To you.
Okay, at least my guy had a chance to win. And then, what do you remember from qualifying?
Qualifying? I just remember Perez going off. Albon was on one. That man was hitting shit. He was like...
Albon was going pretty quick. The first part of Q3, which is the last part of qualifying, was pretty exciting because the Red Bulls just weren't on it for the majority of the weekend, and it looked like
everyone else had like a chance.
I think the pace was the same, but just Red Bull kept slipping up this weekend. So it looked like, okay, if this is going to be the chance for Mercedes or Ferrari to win, now's the time. Also, Ferrari kept saying that they're going to be fast during the race and during qualifying. But we finally get to actually, they're kind of there.
They had like a floor change or some shit, I think, remember, for this. Or the practice session. I don't know if they took it into the race.
No, they didn't take it to the race. But, I mean, they were decently quick in qualifying. And in the first part of Q3, it looks like the Mercedes, the Red Bull, I think maybe Leclerc is going to be up there. But Leclerc has a penalty, though, right?
For this race? No.
No,
he was fine. Like, he had nothing for this race.
Yeah.
And then, like, third or something.
Yeah. Then we get to the last part of qualifying, and Verstappen goes like half a second quicker than everyone else. So that just gets rid of that right away.
That shit was so hyped, though. Because, like, fuck, I forgot who got pole first. I think it was Alonso.
Mm.
And then I think Leclerc took it from him. And then Sainz took it from him. And then fucking Hamilton and Russell come out and it was like, oh shit. And
it's
then Verstappen just...
Yeah, it takes it from everybody. Also, I have here...
The fuck is this Mercedes spelling?
Oh, Mercedes for the win. So Mercedes has pace all of a sudden. Now they're kind of more competing with Aston Martin and ahead of them, if you want to say that.
Where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, we don't know. Well, we'll get into. We'll talk about that later. And then Alfa Romeo isn't like I thought they would be pretty good, but they're not. They're not doing very good. At least Bottas wasn't. Now then they ended up scoring points with Guan Yu Zhou, but like that doesn't really count because
all the shit that happened.
Yeah. So with Perez, they later found out that his front left brake wasn't even connected, so that's why he just went straight off the road, and yeah.
They're sabotaging this man.
That's what my dad says.
Really?
He's like, there's sabotage. They don't want Max, or they want Max to win.
There's some like Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg type shit.
Oh, that was different. What they ended up doing was so all the engineers on Hamilton's side and Nico's side, they ended up switching. So everyone that was working with Hamilton before is now working with Nico. Everyone that was working with Nico is now working with Hamilton. And Nico won. Now, I think Hamilton could have won, but he also had some bad luck. Or not Nico. Hamilton could have won, but he had some bad luck. And Nico was just on it the whole season. He was winning races all the time. And some races, Hamilton just couldn't compete with them. So, they also crashed into each other a couple times. Forgot about that. That's another topic for another day. We don't need to talk about that. Okay, now we get into the race. From my understanding, Perez is starting from the very back. No, he's starting from the pit lane.
Yes.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
The Alphas are starting.
No, he did start from the pit lane.
Someone else was starting from the pit lane.
And an Alpha.
I think it was Bottas or Joe. I think it was Joe. Joe.
Who's Joe?
Joe Mama. I'll find out. Right
Dev is just like, what the fuck is wrong with me?
You don't understand. I'm about to be upset. I think it was Bottas probably started from the pit lane. Yeah, he started from the pit lane. Now we get into the race. And we have the start. And right away, both Mercedes get ahead of
do both? Yeah.
Yeah, both of them get ahead of Verstappen right away.
Because Russell gets ahead. And then Lewis is like, I'm getting ahead too.
Mm-hmm. And then Lance Stroll actually got a pretty good start. He gets ahead of the Ferraris, I think.
Sainz probably. I don't know. Did he get to both?
No, he got ahead of Leclerc for sure. Going into turn 2, which if you like to take it over.
This was at the race start?
This is the first race start.
Fucking Leclerc.
Yeah,
people say it was a Stroll, but I think Leclerc probably.
No, it was Leclerc's fault. I believe Alonso was on the inside, or there was a car on the inside. Stroll was in the middle, but he was they were all alongside. And the rule of thumb is, now this is more in oval racing, but it's generally applied. If you're if it's 2 wide and you make it 3 wide, or you make it an extra lane wide, if you're the last person to get in there, you're supposed to be the first one to back out. So Leclerc makes it 3 wide, and he tries to go around the outside, and he ends up squeezing out Stroll, who gets caught in the middle, and Leclerc takes himself out. Now, I think that was a racing accident, but if anyone was going to be to blame, Leclerc could have waited. He didn't have to make that move. Or he could have been more gentle about it. Or cautious, at least.
Gentle.
Yeah. So
that motherfucker is out of the race. Depression.
Yeah. So that calls out the safety car, and everyone's bunched up again. Then we get to the first restart, where it only lasts for a couple of laps. Then Alex Albon loses control and on a high-speed part of the track, and his car kind of gets pitched into the middle of the track, but thankfully everyone kind of sees it, goes around him, and misses him. At first, when you see, when it goes to the shot of Alex, it looks like he just had a spin, but he actually got into the wall, broke suspension, he was not restarting. They ended up red flagging this.
For the gravel? No, I'm just kidding.
Because it's a mix of things. They had to move his car, which they had to bring out a tractor, which they also got in trouble last year for them. Okay, this is another thing. Everyone got upset because in Japan, they brought out a tractor to get one of the cars off the track while this car is going by. And Gasly almost hits it because he's going faster in a yellow flag zone, which he shouldn't have been doing in the first place, to catch up. So, okay, I know you're upset that there's a tractor on the track, but you should also know, this is double waved yellows. You have to be going slowly, and you're going fast. Probably faster than you're supposed to, and you almost hit it because you're going that fast. Because it's around a blind corner and you can't see what's ahead. Now, yes, they probably could have been more safe about it, but at the same time, like, slow the fuck down. It's a safety car. Like, you have to be going a certain speed. Now, people can argue about this later on, but...
Didn't Sainz spin out that race?
Yeah, he was the first lap. He was part... I think they were recovering his car.
Okay, anyways.
But they call a red flag for this. So, everyone gets, you know... The reasons for this red flag is kind of understandable, but it wasn't really needed. There was no point for having this. And this is coming off of the last race where they had a safety car where there was no danger to anybody. So it's like, okay, why are they having these unnecessary precautions for something that doesn't need to be this precautionary? Now, this one you can argue, okay, like, you know, it's a decently, or like a big accident. They stopped the race. It's still pretty early on, so they can reset everything.
Because do they have to fix the barrier too? Or?
Not really. So that's why it was like, no one understood why. Anyway, there's a red flag, and they restart it. Now, there's another red flag throughout. There's another two, technically. But this one, I'm like, kind of okay with because it's at the beginning of the race, and they could just reset everyone and make it 7 laps shorter, and it's another race, pretty much. Which shouldn't have done, but for whatever reason, it's okay. Like, this is fine. But the most important thing, at least in the front runners, Russell and Sainz pit just before this happened. So they were in the, like, down, like, a good...
They were, like, 10... Or I know Sainz was, like, 10th to 12-ish. Russell was a little bit ahead. He was, like, 8th-ish.
The point is they're further behind, and under red flag conditions, any driver can change whatever tires they want. So everyone else got a free pit stop, putting them at a disadvantage. So, yeah. And another reason why this is important, the two Mercedes were ahead of Red Bull, what's the name? Verstappen was coming on to Hamilton, but Hamilton had DRS from Russell in front. So on the straights, Verstappen couldn't do much. He can get kind of close, but like he would have to really send a move, and it would be really risky. But now that there's no other Mercedes in front and it's only one,
Verstappen's just about to eat, bro.
Yeah, on the next restart, after a couple laps, he gets past him, no problem.
That shit was crazy. He was just,
I think that they said the difference was 33 kilometers per hour, which is 15 miles per hour difference. So that's like pretty significant. So that happens, and then after this, it becomes a fairly normal race. Now, I think 10 laps later, Russell has an engine failure, a pretty catastrophic one, like compared to recent times. He got fire coming out the back. He ends up getting out. Virtual safety car is called, so that means instead of bringing out a car that corrals all the drivers and cars together, a virtual safety car literally puts a speed limit on all the cars, so they can't go faster than a certain threshold. And then it's slow enough so they can remove or like pick up debris, and then all the cars go back racing for right where they left off. So, that was fine. And then from here, for most of the race, it's a pretty standard race. There's some overtaking, some good battles. Perez is coming up to the field, so he's getting by people.
Sainz too. Carlos was on one. He was
so everyone was, it was turning into a typical race. Any of the bigger teams that were further behind are moving up. We're close to like 10 laps left to go, and then Perez is still like 7th, I think. He's in 7th position. There's still a few people in front of him, but he's not really catching anyone. Sainz is behind Stroll, but he's not catching anyone either. So it's kind of at a stalemate. And if it were to continue like this, it probably would have finished that way. Maybe Perez gets 6th or 5th, but that's like a maybe. And then on lap 55, Magnussen runs wide out of turn 1, hits the barrier, destroys his wheel, and puts debris everywhere. Which, at the time, I was thinking, this is going to end the race. You can call it a safety car. It's going to be too messy to clean up, and they're just going to end the race. If they red flag it now, there's no point in continuing. You only got like 2 laps. Leave it be. We don't need to finish this. Plus, they already had the red flag from earlier, so they're kind of getting close to their time limit. They have to finish the race in. So, like, there's no need to continue to have this, like, you know. That's
just finish off in the safety
That's
car.
it. Like, there's no more. Or if it is a safety car, they would have 1 or 2 laps after a safety car restart, and it's really not going to change much. But they call a red flag. And I'm like, okay, they might end the race here because the track is too dirty and, well, there's no need to continue. But no.
There is a need to continue.
There's 3 laps left, and they, with their big brains, are like, all right, we're going to have a standing restart. First of all, that accident was nowhere even big enough to, like, warrant a red flag. He literally, like, touched the barrier. Yeah, there's some debris on the track, but, like, that's what a safety car is. You bunch them all up together, and you pick up all the pieces, and then have everyone going again. But no, they call a red flag because this is a severe accident, and it's a safety risk for all the drivers to be out there because there's debris all over the track. So what they decide is to red flag the race and have a standing start, which is known to be the most dangerous track because you bunch all the cars up together, and they're going to go all into turn 1, which is going to cause an accident if someone messes up. So you decide for safety to red flag the race to clean up the track so it's safer for the drivers, but then make them restart the race in a fashion that would be more dangerous than what you could have done to finish the race. Now, I can understand if you want to, like, restart the race anyway, but at least do a rolling start so it's safer and is not going to cause a major accident. And I've seen, like, so many people saying, but rolling starts are dangerous. Or not dangerous. Rolling starts are, like, boring, and that's not what we want to see. Well, if you don't want to see that, you're watching F1 for crashes, and you should not be watching it because you are an asshole, and no one wants you in the sport. So get the fuck out if you want rolling starts and more crashes. Because that's not what the teams want, because that costs a lot of money. And because it's not your money, that's what you want. This is not NASCAR, and we do not make up races as we go. Because that's bullshit, and that's not what they do. This is not America, land of entertainment. This is F1, land of where rules exist.
Yeah.
I got upset. And right as I predicted, turn 1 was fucking mayhem. You had Perez going off the track. Alonso spins because Sainz hits him, and then the 2 Alpines crash into each other, which caused debris everywhere, just like the start. So they red flag it again because guess what? There's a big crash everywhere. And then Stroll spins into the second turn because Stroll.
Yeah, he locked up.
Okay.
He said cut Stroll.
Yeah, okay. Cold brakes, whatever, he spun. And then they red flag it again. And then that should be the end of it. That should be, all right, all these fuckers crashed out. This should be the end of the race. No one should restart what has happened again because clearly they just saw what happened. And this is exactly why you don't have a standing start with 3 laps to go. This is why IndyCar doesn't do this. This is why NASCAR fans hate NASCAR at the moment because they keep doing this and nobody likes it when this happens. Now, yeah, all the fans that like it at the moment and think it's cool to see all these car crashes, these are fans that are not going to be here for the next 3 years because once they realize that F1 is not about crashing, they're going to leave because guess what? This is not your entertainment factor. Well, it is your entertainment, but F1 was made to be pure racing, and this is not pure racing if you're inventing races according to Alonso. And even when they called a red flag, all the drivers were complaining, why did they call a red flag? This is pointless. We don't need this.
Facts. Oh, that didn't come out. Facts.
Okay? So this should be the end of it. Okay? They call a red flag, but now they're trying to figure out what position should everyone be in because according to the rules, whenever there's a red flag, so if there's a red flag on lap 55 They take the results from lap 54, the last full completed lap. Now, technically, the last full completed lap was, I think, lap 55, where they all went out and did the like first lap to get back to the grid. So that was technically the last full lap that everyone completed. So they go back to those results, but no, this doesn't end here. There was one lap left remaining. Like, even if they restarted the race, like, it wouldn't even count. So they decided to restart the race in that order, minus everyone else that crashed, because that didn't exist to them apparently. And then they restart the race, so everyone that crashed because of the restart that the FIA called, which caused that
They're just
mayhem, they're just out. And then they finished the race with the one lap left remaining, which was pointless. No one needed to do that. And then they go ahead and penalize Carlos Sainz. I'm going to defend you here, buddy. They penalize Carlos Sainz because he hit Alonso on a lap that they're not counting anymore, even though he got his position back from an accident, which I would call a racing accident, because their stupid idea to restart the race at the end caused this accident to happen. And now they penalize him because they have to do that, even though they're trying to fix what they did, and it doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's enough of my rant. Back to the race. So, Verstappen wins. Hamilton becomes second. Alonso's third. Stroll is fourth. Perez ends up fifth somehow. Norris is sixth. Nico Hulkenberg out of nowhere is seventh. Piastri, who wasn't even in the top 10, comes home in eighth. Guan Yu Zhou also ninth. Yuki Tsunoda is 10th. Bottas is 11th. Sainz is 12th. 13th. Well, 12. There's only 12 people that finished, like actually finished. And 12 through 13 or through 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 were because of accidents, and 1 was mechanical related.
Damn.
And I completely forgot on the restart. Logan Sargent hit Nick DeVries from the back, and they both were out.
That was funny.
Yeah. So,
he got no penalty. The racist.
I didn't even think about that. He just straight up locked it up and just hit him in the rear. Like, if anything was more like one driver's fault, it was that one.
Oh, no. I see what you're saying now. Okay.
So, explain that one to me. So that's where it ends up.
Depression.
Yeah.
Was a Ferrari fan. You got a good position.
Yeah, Perez ended up fifth. He got lucky because he was like at the very back because he went off on turn 1.
After the restart?
Yeah.
Because there was like nowhere to go.
Yeah. Who was in front of him? No, it wasn't Alpine. Let me.
Yeah, it had to have been Alpine. Alpine or
Let me look it up.
McLaren.
Yeah. Go through here. F1. Australia 2023.
I have no more YouTube Premium.
With Salesforce, Formula One can deliver.
She's wearing a NASCAR shirt. Yeah, and I don't like. There's nothing wrong with F1 trying to like cater to new markets, but you can't sell a product because like once people get into it and see that like majority of what's happening is like fake per se, no one's gonna want to be interested in what's like happening. So you have it's the Alpine that goes off. Anything else that happens, and then it's just the Alpines that crash.
How do they crash?
Here, the crash for the Alpines. Gasly goes off track. He comes back on and then he ends up going. So when he comes back onto the track, he closes out the outside lane, not knowing that his teammate's there. And it's a simple case. He just didn't see him. And he was just too focused on trying to get back. So what it looks like here, yeah.
He was behind Stroll. But
Gasly. Gasly locks up, and Perez has nowhere to go and goes straight off with him. Then, so it just doesn't see him, turns into him. Not much you can do about that.
I don't remember when we saw that. We were like, oh shit.
That. Look at this. Look what it does to me. I get too upset.
And you're just warm in here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Max wins. He's leading the championship now. And I think, who is Alonso still third? Hamilton jumps Sainz, so he's now in fourth position in the championship. So, yeah. And then McLaren is fifth in the championship now.
Sainz was fourth? Because Alonso was third?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then no, Hamilton. Okay.
Yeah, so...
Comeback starts next race.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Do you have anything else to add to this race?
I was just mad. Like, it was depressing to see all that happen. And, like, it didn't need to happen when it's like...
Depression. So, I guess new updates. There's two tracks trying to get back into the F1 circuit. You have Malaysia, which used to be there. The last race was 2017, so that track's already good to go. They're just having trouble finding the money to pay F1, which I think it's like $200 or $100 million every year to actually race. Which normally how it works, they pay the track to race at their track, but in this case, the tracks pay F1 to race there. That's why you have so many races in the Middle East, because a lot of other countries have a lot of money to spend, and they're just paying their way in. And then you also have the whole debate.
China out here saving money.
Well, that's because of their COVID stuff. No, because whatever.
Oh, because they're paying for
Joe, yeah. And then South Africa wants to get back into. The last time they raced there was 1993. They're gonna get their Grade 1 circuit or Grade 1 certification soon, so then they will fully be eligible to race in Formula One. And if that happens, I think that's a good thing, because then you actually see F1 race in North America, South America, North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, and Africa. So all 6 continents that are actually able to be raced
Antarctica. You're up next.
Bro. No.
Imagine. That'd be dope. You see penguins and shit.
If they hit a penguin.
They just like slide on track.
In the Avatar: The Last Airbender, when they're riding the penguins.
No.
Yeah. So they're trying to get back. A lot of people were saying that, like, Mercedes got fast all of a sudden, and they didn't bring any upgrades. So where is this speed coming from? And maybe it's, they're just getting more used to the car or whatever it is, but they found something in the setup that allows them to go much faster. But they've already said that the concept that they have is limited, and they're going to change it anyway.
Very suspicious.
Imagine they bring up the upgrades and they go slower.
I'd be happy, because Ferrari would take their place.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. So, yeah, that's the
Race
Australian
prediction.
Grand Prix. And do you remember anything else that you just want to add or had feelings towards?
It was nice watching with a bigger group, actually.
Yeah, so this time we watched it with our friend Alfredo, who doesn't really watch Formula One. Our friend,
Jonas came like later in the
Yeah.
race. Jesus like came by every now and then, but he stayed at the end.
and then us two. So like watching with the, that's like when I said I wanted to go home to watch it with my family. Like it's nice to watch it with the big group because you like there's more reaction instead of just sitting there just like, oh fuck, or red flag.
And we're just like, oh.
So that was fun. We'll do a prediction next time. The race was fun.
Prediction? Leclerc
Oh,
won.
what
Sainz
would
second,
you rate the race?
and Perez third.
I think it was actually like pretty good before the red flag.
Like it was going pretty good, you know. It was nice to see Sainz like overtaking, like getting up the field.
I think, well, the FIA screwed themselves from a really good race because it's a lot of like what could have happened. Because if the first red flag didn't happen, Sainz and Russell would have been so like put back,
Behind, yeah.
and you would have seen more fighting at the front.
Maybe from Russell. I don't know about Sainz.
Well, because they would have been trying to get around the Aston Martins.
That's true, yeah.
So I think that would have been more interesting. And then they had the second red flag. So I think in terms of the actual racing, I think it was probably 7 out of 10.
That was really good.
But negative
Less
100
red
with
flags.
everything else that happened for me. So average, I think that's negative 57, 52 out of 10. So that's what I rank it. That was the Australian Grand Prix.
But yeah, Leclerc first, Sainz second, and Perez third next race. Are they calling it? And if
I'll
not
bet
Perez,
you $50 one of the Ferraris is gonna get taken out last one.
if not Perez, it'll be Logan Sargent in third.
Hopefully Perez wins the next race. It's gonna be Azerbaijan. He's always done really good there. So we'll see. My name is Richard.
My name is Nathaniel.
He barely talked today.
It's not Nathaniel. You were on one today.
Yeah.
Man had a lot on his chest.
I could hear.
I'm still upset. Thank you for Devin.
Baka. That was nice, huh?
That's it. You can turn it off now.
No, I don't think I will.
Okay.
Okay, Captain America. No, I don't think I will.